Welcome to Graveyard Walking. I am your host, Randy. Walk with me as we visit the lives of those who lived among us or before us, but left this earth with a story still yet to be told. In this episode, we look at the young life of Kayla Allen, whose tragic life was cut short when she was poisoned by her caregiver. On August 24, 2003, 7-year-old Kayla Allen was found dead in the hallway of her home near the entrance to her bedroom, lying face down in her own vomit. She had apparently been laying in bed and threw up twice, then began looking for help. She had only made it to the hallway before falling to the floor and once again throwing up and then dying before she could find help. Her autopsy report stated a red and gray granular pesticide poison was found in her stomach. The poison was identified as Atroban. It is used for pigs, sheep, and cattle farms. 2 psychotropic medications in her heart tissue were also found. At the home, a water bottle containing the liquefied Atroban was found under Kayla's pillow. When Kayla vomited, the pesticide aspirated into her tiny lungs, burst in the air sacs, according to the autopsy. The only other person besides Kayla at home as she slowly died was Mommy Aunt Caroline Futrell, who would in the end be convicted of involuntary manslaughter in Kayla's death. But the story of little Kayla's death really starts years before. In 1995, 17-year-old Nicole Allen gave birth to Kayla. Nicole was having a difficult life and may even have been in the military. But whatever the real story may be, Nicole, believing Kayla would be better off with her brother Jeff, gave legal custody of Kayla to him, who was at the time married to Caroline Futrell. Later they would divorce, and for some reason, little Kayla stayed in the custody of his ex-wife. At 18 months old, it was alleged Futrell slapped Kayla in the mouth for back-talking her. At 2 years old, a black eye report. At 4 years old, another black eye report. At 5 years old, her school reported abuse. All these reports are filed with the North Carolina Department of Social Services. And then at 6 years old, Taylor, Michigan police received a report of abuse filed by Nicole's sister. The last report of abuse was filed just shortly before Kayla's death. A therapist Kayla was once seeing asked her to write down all the good things and all the bad things about Futrell. Kayla would not state one negative thing. Then, just prior to Kayla's death, her school made a report stating that Futrell slammed Kayla into a door frame when she asked for lunch money. It seems as if all the red flags were ignored by the North Carolina Department of Social Services. On August 24, 2003, Futrell claimed she was doing laundry, eating popcorn, watching TV, and taking a shower before going to church at 11 a.m. A 911 call was made at 11:14 a.m. When the EMT arrived, they found little Kayla unresponsive, laying face down in her own vomit. Her throat was too swollen for EMS to get a tracheal tube down her throat. On May 20, 2004, Caroline Futrell was indicted by the grand jury of Onslow County, North Carolina, for capital murder, felony child abuse, and the death of 7-year-old Kayla Allen. At the trial in 2008, Futrell testified that she left a friend with Kayla's lifeless body lying in the doorway and drove to the church to ask the pianist to help her. The pianist testified that when she arrived, Kayla was laying in the doorway of her bedroom. Charlotte was on the phone, and Caroline was standing beside Charlotte, and Kayla's lifeless body was cold. Jurors found Futrell guilty of involuntary manslaughter, which carries a penalty of 18 to 20 months in jail. With time served, she walked out of jail that day. But little Kayla's story doesn't end here. You see, Kayla was buried in the family cemetery of the woman responsible for her death, and if that wasn't enough, her headstone listed her last name as Futrell. This outraged many, and an effort had begun to get Kayla's body removed from the Futrell family cemetery and reburied under her rightful last name and back at her home state of Michigan. August 2010, Kayla's body was removed from the Futrell cemetery and was buried next to her grandmother's grave at Michigan Memorial Park, Flat Rock, Michigan. Dan and Kelly Dwyer, owner of Michigan Memorial Funeral Home in the neighboring cemetery, stated that they were compelled to intervene to help get Kayla buried back home where she belonged. When the Dwyers were made aware of the situation, they joined the fight and offered to donate a plot and a new grave marker for Kayla. Without them, I could not bring her here, Allen said. What they did was phenomenal. It's hard to put into words. They did this for no other reason than out of the goodness of their hearts. The Dwyers traveled to North Carolina in a truck pulling a trailer to transport the casket containing the remains of little Kayla back to Michigan Memorial Park for reburial. They took care of all the legal work. They said the goal was to simply get Kayla out of the North Carolina cemetery. This poor girl had a really bad life. We know we are doing the right thing. As strange as it may sound, there was resistance from some family members who did not want Kayla's resting place disturbed. But in the end, it was the wishes of her mother, Nicole, to rebury her daughter in Michigan. Kayla had a horrible life for the short time she was on this earth, but now everyone can rest assured little Kayla is in better hands and a much better place, resting for all eternity beside her grandmother. Kayla Allen was laid to rest at Michigan Memorial Park in Flat Rock, Michigan.